What up, world? This is the GoalNet recording live here from Chicago, just a couple days after the release of the new 2021 CCM EFlex 5 goalie pads. Today's video will be a deep dive. This is where we cover what's new about the EFlex 5. Tune back to the YouTube channel at a later date to see a comparison with the EFlex 4 and the Axis pad as well, so you can understand what's different. And then lastly, a few months down the road, there will also be a review once I've had enough comprehensive on-ice testing to let everybody know my opinions and how I feel about the gear. So again, today's video is going over the specs and what is new about the EFlex 5. So first things first, let's take a look at the graphic. In my opinion, over the last probably 20 years, literally, not even like 5 or not even 2, CCM has probably had the most consistently best graphics in the industry, and maybe even going back longer than that, probably 25 years. And this includes the Heaton brands, the Coho brands, RBK, Reebok, and now CCM. And I think I've been doing social media stuff for about 5 years now, and every time there's a new CCM graphic, the boo birds come out in full force saying, oh, CCM lost their touch, finally a bad graphic. And the reality is each time a new graphic comes out, they put more and more color zones on that the goalies can customize. And when we see it, the first sets come through a pro goalie or a major junior goalie, who knows if that guy is good style or not. And that leads us to, you can make any pad look sick or you can make any pad look ugly. So hopefully looking at my pads, you are blown away and excited by what you can do with the graphic. And I liked EFlex 5 so much, I really had a tough time figuring out how to use the color zones. So I ended up kind of doing something to me that looked a little 90s retro inspired, almost kind of looks like a reverse of the Heaton Helite 3 graphic, which was a favorite of mine. And the other graphic that I thought was really cool is if we look at the top zones there, you could almost do like using the bottom gold bar there and then this zone there across the top of the knee roll, you could almost do like a diagonal sock graphic. So I had a tough time deciding if doing the diagonal sock graphic or kind of the reverse Helite 3 graphic was the way to go, and ended up going with the graphic that I did here. And the reason being is twofold. One is, for whatever reason, I think it was probably an In Goal magazine or on their podcast, or maybe Jaws from Brian's told me, but I remember hearing Eddie Lack only liked graphics below his knees, like on his shins. And for some reason it said that, and it like articulated something I'd always thought, that like graphics lower in the pad always just look best. So one of the reasons is generally when doing a customizer, I always just trying to use the lower zone. And then secondly, doing EFlex and doing Axis, I've always tried to have this kind of cohesive look with my CCM sets, and I feel like this EFlex 5 is like the perfect evolution of the way I did my EFlex 4 set. So this is the couple of reasons I used the graphic the way I did. So aside from the graphic, which is probably one of the most fun things to talk about, and the customizer is live, so check that out on CCM Goalie's website, let's talk about what's new and what's different on this pad. So I think the first and most obvious change to this pad is the knee roll area. When the first few sets were leaked, some people were confused why the knee roll was a different color the center knee roll that didn't necessarily match the rest of the graphic, or why if we look, that middle knee roll is kind of triangular. It's wider out toward the outer roll than it is toward the inner sliding edge. And people wondered what that is. And if you can take a look on the screen closely now, you will see that there are stitch lines up to the bottom of that knee roll and then coming down to the top of that. But the center knee roll actually does not have those stitch lines. So let's zoom in here closely and you can see what I'm talking about here, where we have the stitch lines here, we have the stitch lines there, and none in the middle. So why did CCM do that? CCM changed the construction of this pad where all 3 of these knee rolls are actually a molded foam. And they also flatten the knee rolls out. So the purpose of the new knee roll design is twofold. One is, CCM Goalie's philosophy is always kind of looking at the future, and they are really trying to pack as much technology into these pads as you can. And if you've noticed, seen pics any may have posted on Instagram, they're definitely coming in hot with the digital printing as well. So you can see CCM's adding a lot of tech. They were trying to look at a way to innovate with the knee roll. If you're not familiar with it, a knee roll literally serves no function on a goalie pad in 2021. 50 years ago, the way they built pads, the knee roll actually helped the pad stand up, hold its shape, and flex. That's no longer the case today. People like knee rolls though, and it's definitely something that as a consumer, you can walk into a hockey shop, you see a pads with knee rolls, and know that that's probably going to be the softer pad between a two brands lineup, or maybe more of a traditional feeling pad. It's just something that resonates with goalies. And as much as I don't personally like knee rolls, I like the clean look of a pad with no knee rolls. I don't know that they're going anywhere anytime soon because people seem to love them. So we have these knee rolls on the pad. What can we do to make them better? CCM went, again, like I said earlier, with a molded technology. So all three of the knee rolls are actually molded foam. The difference is the top two rolls get a Gen Pro or synthetic leather skin, and the middle knee roll does not. And that was done so that you could look at the pad and understand what was different by not seeing the stitch lines. And then secondly, when you do the graphic, it gives you some very unique options in the customizer where you can kind of make that center knee roll stand out if you so choose. So what's the performance benefit of that? Molding technology is going to be more consistent. It's actually a very high-end way of molding plastics or foams into a shape. It gives better consistency. Better consistency is going to make the pad perform more uniformly. So like the rebounds coming off the knee rolls should feel more consistent than a traditional knee roll, which is just, like a couch foam kind of cushion or light density foam, just wrapped in the Gen Pro skin. There's nothing too advanced there. This is engineered to feel consistent. And the other thing I would speculate as well is that molded parts generally hold up better and are more durable over time. So definitely could see the knee rolls not wearing out as quickly as maybe they do on other brands of pads or older generations of pads. You can see these things are still fresh out of the package, no puck marks. I intend to wear them tomorrow. So I can't really comment yet if you notice any of the performance difference with the knee rolls, but definitely cool that CCM is trying to innovate the knee roll because again, it's essentially something that could rip right off the pad. So following like good design principles, if it's going to be on the pad, it's got to serve some function. And that's what we see with the new knee rolls. And if you're watching this video at home and you haven't had the opportunity to go see EFlex 5 up and close in person, if you can picture the molded material that was on the backhand of the Axis glove or the Axis blocker wrist cuff, if you've happened to see those two up close, that is what that middle knee roll material looks like. And again, it is foam molded and it does have a little bit of a grain texture on it. But it is different than the rest of the skin. And I mentioned printing earlier as well. You can see that CCM worked in some subtleties. There's actually a ghosted logo in the gold there, which really adds some depth to these pads. So I think that's, again, the biggest new feature that people are going to check out these pads instantly and notice and want to inquire about. So that's what's up with the knee rolls, and that's what's new. So one of the other most interesting pieces of the EFlex pad is unfortunately something that we cannot see, but I'll try and talk about it the best that we can. And basically the face of the goalie pad has a new foam on the front of it. So the Premier 2 pad had the Max Rebound, the Axis pad had the Max Rebound Plus, and that was a sheet of foam in the front of the goalie pad that was designed to make the rebound shoot off that pad as quickly as possible. However, EFlex is supposed to be different than Premier, different than Axis. So this is designed for a goalie that wants the pad to fit closer to his leg. They want it to fit more tight. And they're a little bit more traditional goalie where they want the pucks to come in front of them. But as positions evolve and as people's expectations of gear evolve, it was sort of time to mix things up. So control rebound is something that I like to call right size rebounds. And again, haven't used this on ice, so can't validate if it works, but the marketing concept is extremely cool. And I hope this pans out on the ice when I get to test it. And what this means is when I say right size, a soft rebound in tight should stay close to your body so you get a quick whistle. And then a hard slap shot from the point should hit your pad and scream off of it. So it's not going to be as fast as the Max Rebound Plus, but it should definitely be, I think, as quick as Max Rebound-ish, maybe a little bit softer on the hard shots. So it's pretty cool that the foam is essentially like a smart material. It knows what to do with a soft shot and it knows what to do with a hard shot. So really interested to try that. And one thing I'll say too is I know exactly what I like in a pad at this point in time. And I've had, I think this is maybe fourth set of CCM gear since I started doing GoalNet. So I know how to customize the pads exactly how I want them. You'll see I have single internal, no external brakes. I actually didn't go with the Max Rebound material in the face, which is a new option on EFlex 5 in the customizer, no charge, upcharge. That was something that wasn't available on EFlex 4. I didn't like the soft rebounds on EFlex 4. If you watch any of my other reviews, I love hard rebounds. However, the right size rebound seemed awesome to me because there are definitely times when a puck in front of me has a little bit too much juice off of it and it kind of creates that awkward rebound. So really curious to get this on ice and see if this is the best of both worlds. And that's why I went with the stock rebound face material this time and didn't go with the Max Rebound, but I definitely think Max Rebound is going to be a really popular option for goalies. I think a lot of people want those hard rebounds today, but it's great that you have choice with CCM, and that's one of the things I always respect is they have the broadest and most in-depth custom program in terms of that menu of options that you can pick from. So now you can get the Control Rebound or the Max Rebound in the EFlex 5. So if we take a look at the back side of the pad, we'll see a lot of familiar things. Have the quick motion strapping, which is always usually tweaked little by little between generations. And then we also have the 3D molded foam knee block. And then you've got that black strip in the back with the embossed CCM logo. So that's a pretty subtle changes again with the strapping compared to EFlex 5. Not nearly going to be as big of a change as the knee rolls or the new rebound face. One of the other changes with EFlex 5 that you won't really be able to see is that it carries over the dual light core technology from the EFlex 4, but the recipe for the foam inside the pad has been tweaked a little bit. So it's actually been stiffened above the knee a little bit, which I'd say is probably a little bit of reduction in torsional flex. And the goal there is to improve the seal of the goalie pad. So when I'm talking about this, I'm saying this upper area there above the knee. That's where it's been stiffened a bit. And then down in the boot channel, so down in there, it's still going to be an extremely flexible pad. And the goal of this is trying to give a goalie flex where you need the flex and then stiffness where it's required for the seal and also the sliding on the goalie pad. And then when we talk about the sliding, this inner edge here, so the sliding surface there, that inner gusset, that is a dual density molded construction. And that inner edge is also raised, which the goal of that both is to improve the seal and also improve the sliding on this pad. Another key point to note with the EFlex 5 is that the shape as well of this inner landing surface and stabilizer have also been changed as well to improve the seal and the sliding of this goalie pad. So I know that's some stuff that you may not notice in the retail shop checking the store out, but a lot of subtle things designed around seal and sliding on this goalie pad. And I think really the only other thing to note in terms of custom options I did on this pad, when you follow up with the reviews in the other videos, I mentioned no outer brakes. There's no brake in the outer roll. Is I also get rid of the knee flap because I do the elastic down at the calf, but stock on the pad will be this. And all of these options, if you're not familiar with CCM, are no charge upcharges in their customizer. So anything that you can customize on the pad in the customizer, you can get for the same price. So in closing, if it isn't clear coming through in the video, and maybe I didn't say it emphatically enough in the beginning, but this is definitely CCM's most ambitious change to the EFlex pad, probably since a second line was added, to complement the Premier way back when they added EFlex. So new molded knee rolls to give those some purpose, new front face construction with the Control Rebound, new attachment point for the quick motion strapping, tweaked goal pad core to improve stiffness where you need it and flex where you need it, and then improved landing surface as well to improve the seal and the sliding. So lots of subtle tweaks, and that's kind of what you can expect from EFlex because it's the #1 selling line at retail, so you only want to change things so far. So this is the GoalNet signing out. Please throw me a like down below and a subscribe on YouTube.